Hello everybody! Today for Sunday Funday, we're going to see how I draw a cowboy astronaut. Okay, so pencils first and then Sharpies. So if you don't want to watch the pencil portion of the video where I sketch the entire thing out, look at the description and you'll find a link that you can click on that will take you to the Sharpie portion of the video. I'll even include one for color. But for those of you that are going to stick around, I'm going to start off with a quick sketch for myself and get us going. Okay, so Sunday Funday. I get to do whatever I want and I'm totally making this up. I just picked some words, threw something together, and now we're going to draw. Okay, so there is no right or wrong here. We get to do whatever we want. I just have to get it out. So let's see. So I'm just kind of picking some cowboy themed details. Then I'm going to go from there. So I'm just kind of playing around with what could possibly be the cowboy astronaut aspect. Okay, and maybe, I'm not crazy about this leg. I'm not crazy about where it's going. So let me resketch it, rethink this. So I kind of was thinking like a whole, like, not really that he's, well, yes, I'll just say it. That he's kind of, I was thinking the idea was that he was almost in like a, not bucking bronco, but yeah, kind of like riding a, bucking bronco. Why can I not think? So that's why I got his legs kind of spread out like this, you know? But there's nothing there, so he's not really riding anything. He's just in that pose. So I just thought that was kind of a very, very cowboy pose and thought that would be great. But in doing so, that also means that, okay, now you got to figure out, well, is that going to make sense that he's just all spread out like that? But I guess it kind of does, because he is floating in space, you know? So to a point, you know, he is kind of in a strange position, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, when you're in space, obviously, you know, there's a little bit of what am I trying to say? Again, like I always tell everybody over and over again, I don't have my words. I'm not good with my words. And I'm going to say it like that every time. Words. You don't have a good orientation because you don't have gravity, you know? Okay. Well, let's see. So I'm kind of also making up what could possibly be going on with Cowboy Astronaut. Like the details and whatnot, because I didn't say he has to be a NASA astronaut, you know? I mean, we can, but again, I'm kind of like, nah, it's Sunday Funday, let's just go crazy and just do something, you know? So I'm kind of basing it on, you know, yeah, obviously you're gonna have, you know, cowboy parts, NASA parts, and space parts. So let's see where we can go with this. So yeah, I am basing it a little bit on, you know, NASA, but again, because it's Sunday Funday, we can do whatever we want. Okay, oh, you know what? Yeah, I gotta give him the big space fingers. Something like that. And how about on this hand, we do kind of a, ooh, you know what we could do? I wonder if I can do this, pull this off. Have you ever seen like the old cowboy stuff where they got like fringe hanging off of their gloves and their coats and things like that? We'll do that. We'll do like some fringe on his gloves, and that'll kind of give us that whole old school cowboy feel, you know? I mean, there is no such thing as a real cowboy anymore, right? I mean, there's ranchers and whatnot, but considering that I'm talking about Wild West, you know, there's no Clint Eastwood or what is your version of a cowboy? What do you think of a cowboy now? Because like if I were to ask my father, you know, it would be something completely different. Myself, what do I think of? Who do I think of as a cowboy? Let me think. I guess I think of like Wyatt Earp. No, True Grit. What's a good cowboy movie that sticks out in my head? I don't know. I'm too busy thinking about this and to worry about that right now. So, okay. But anyway, yeah, that's what I was trying to say is, you know, who do you think of for a cowboy? Because in this day and age, you know, it's not as prominent as it used to be. So just thinking, you know, what would you consider a cowboy? Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna do that right there. And so now I gotta draw his head. What can I do for his head? Let's try to think of, ooh, should we make him like an alien looking face? Let's see, I'm trying to round off his helmet here too. Okay, so let's do, yeah, let's make some kind of weird alien face. Something with a lot of strange Zoidberg lips, you know? And let's give him some kind of weird roundish strange worm-like ears, you know? 3 eyes. How about something like that? Here we go. Perfect. All right. I like it. Okay, so I'm going to erase some of this, and that way we're only going by the confidence lines. I'm going to erase all the sketchy lines, and then when I draw with the Sharpie, the only thing that stands out is the Sharpie, you know? So I've got to just kind of hide some of this, but leave myself enough that I can actually trace over it and look like I know what I'm doing. That's the whole trick in life, kids. Look like you know what you're doing. Okay, there we go. So I'm ready to jump to the Sharpie portions. Let's welcome everybody that skipped to this part of the video. Welcome, skippers. Welcome to the Sharpie portion of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I do a drawing every day. You can join along and have some fun. I'm going to be using a Sharpie fine point and a Sharpie pen, mostly the fine point, but the pen's in there because it's a little finer than the fine point and you can find the things that the fine point quite can't find. Boom. So I've already sketched the entire thing out and I've erased the majority of it. I've got a ghost of an image to draw, so I'm going to start with my Sharpie pen for the finer details, and I've given him a weird alien-like face because I figured why not, you know? Sunday Funday, do whatever we want. So I'm going to draw some eyes. I'm just going to go ahead and just draw the whole eye in like that, and I gave him 3 like this, and then I gave him like a cat eye, something like this. And because he's an alien, I'm just going to add some extra, you know, doodads and doodickles and doodlies and eye dyes. I don't know, I'm just making up words just to try to make you laugh. Okay, I'm going to thicken these up just a little bit too, just to kind of accent the actual eyelid. Just darken them up just a hair. If you're using a pencil, you don't have to. I'm just using it as a kind of an inking technique, okay? All right, so I'm going to now draw his, I gave him a bunch of like weird like lips, kind of. So let's just kind of go with what I did, you know? I don't know what it was I drew. I just drew a bunch of like funny lines because it made me laugh. And because he's an alien, you know, this is just what we're doing, you know? There's no explanation as to what is all that. You know what it is? It's me drawing, that's what it is. So you don't have to worry about what it is. So I'm just playing around with just kind of some strange, weird alien, you know, detailed face. Because when I was drawing, I realized it's like, oh, you know what? I'm drawing, and I said he's a cowboy alien. No, I'm sorry, a cowboy astronaut. But I didn't say he was from NASA. You know, I didn't say he was from Earth. So I'm just kind of playing around with, you know, weird little funky details. All right, and so I've also kind of given him kind of a weird ear. I'm going to draw the top of his head real fast. Just to define a few things. Okay, so his ear, I kind of gave him like this weird, like a worm ear. Just a strange, you know, sometimes it's nice to just draw stuff that isn't human-like, because, you know, a lot of times we tend to, you know, draw what we see, draw what we know, and sometimes you just draw what you don't know, so you kind of, you know, let's give him a couple of alien baubles, like that. Why not, right? So anyway, what I'm saying is you draw what you don't normally draw, so you get something that's a little different, a little otherworldly, you know? So now for the helmet, I think I'm going to stick with the small Sharpie, then I'll switch to the big one, but I want it to be subtle. I don't want it to be super thick. So I'm just going to draw a circle, and if it comes out perfect, great. If it doesn't, great. I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to draw, according to my sketch, kind of around, and I'm going to try to make it perfect. Well, not perfect, but I'm trying to make it round. And there, see, it's a little off here, and that was pretty good, but it's no big deal. I'm not worried about it. That's just what it is, you know? Okay, so I'm switching over to the other Sharpie now, and I'm going to start adding in a few more little details. So I'm going to draw the bottom of the bulb, or the bulb of the bowl of his helmet, like this. Draw the back end like that. And there's his like little jacket, not jacket, but little rest of his costume. Suit, that's the word I was looking for. You dum-dum, you can't even think of words. All right, so back to this. I'm going to, let's see, I drew kind of this funny little front navigational thing, or not navigational thing, but like a survival suit type thing. So I'm just going to kind of play around with a little look to it like this, and then I'll build on everything else. But I wanted to do this first because it's on top of everything else. Okay, so the reason I did that is because I wanted to have like a hose, you know? All right. Okay, so we'll add like some buttons and some doodlies, and some detail. And there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like playing around with a couple of lines just to give it something, you know? We'll put him in a little space patch right here like that. Okay, so now I can draw behind that. So I'm going to draw his shoulders into what we're going to call the attachments. So all suits, like spacesuits, and we're just going to go ahead and play with like the realism part, are going to be sealed because they're airtight, right? So they're going to have certain parts that are sealed up that have to have these metal rings. I can't remember what they're called, but they're on the spacesuits. Okay, and I'm just adding again just some fun detail just to make it space. We'll add a zipper. Okay, all right. And I'm stopping right there because I'm gonna do his arms. And so I'm gonna add some bumps and creases for his creases and folds of his sleeve. So I'm gonna kind of do something like that to his elbow. And then he's gonna have gloves on, so I'll go ahead and stop right there and bring it back. Okay, and again, gonna add some of those stress lines is basically what they are, because the material is bent. All right. So let's draw his cowboy gloves. And again, I'm going to draw the sealed partitions. I don't know what they're called, basically. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to add what I was talking about, his little, well, if you weren't here for the sketch, you don't know what I was talking about. His little fringe on his cowboy gloves. So just something like that, just to have a little fun, a little make it a little cowboyish, you know. And so now I'm going to draw his hand, and I've already got the entire thing sketched out. So I'm just going to accent the fingers, and that'll also help guide me with the sketch. Okay, so now I'm going to draw his thumb to his finger, the other fingers, like that. And I'll go ahead and add some stress lines, crease lines, and work lines, because these are work gloves. Something like that. All right, so this one is going to be holding a cowboy hat. So we're going to do the same thing, add some bumps for the creases to the elbow, the crook of the arm, the glove down to the elbow, coming back up to about right there. Those tubes are in the way, so there's not much we can do about that. Draw those creases, just a couple like this, just to add some realism to it. And go back to the gloves, and it's gonna have, okay, something, I guess this was the side, and so it's kind of turned a little bit so you can see more of where the fringe is going to be. So I'm going to kind of play around with giving space for the fringe. All right. That way I can draw the fringe kind of like this, kind of over. And I'm going to reconnect it. And basically what I'm just trying to do is show that it's not right on the edge, that it's in just a little bit, you know? So I'm making an artistic choice, and that's why I spaced it out like that. All right, so see, we broke it up a little bit. We made it a little different from over there. And so here, that's where it's sewn in, you know? Like that. So we created a little bit, we broke it up. We made it a little different. Okay, so this glove is holding a hat, and so we're gonna draw The thumb you can see because it's on this side of the hat. The other parts you can't because of the way the hat is. And so the hat's not perfect. I realized as I was sketching that I have to make it kind of at an angle because I'm going to fall off the page. But again, that's okay. You're going to get the idea. You're going to know what it is. Go the top of it like this. And there's a hat. So now the other finger is back behind, so I can't quite draw all of them anyway. Because it's holding a hat, you know, and the finger's on the other side of the hat. But again, we'll go ahead and just draw some stress lines from where the fingers and the hand bends. Okay? All right. Okay, so working my way down here, I'm going to give him a big old Texas belt buckle because he's got on a holster. He's a cowboy. All right, so same thing over here. And I think I'm going to give him like a holster, but I don't think a gun. Maybe not, because, well, let's just not even do that. Let's not even worry about it. Because A, I don't like to promote violence by drawing guns. Laser bullets, laser guns, that's a different story because those don't exist. Real guns, yeah, I'm not crazy about it. So let's not even do that. Let's just give him the belt and we'll be good with that. So I'm going to draw his legs out like this. Again, that's where the seal is going to be. So I can bring this leg in this way, right there where his crotch is. Work our way the other way. Come down this way. That's where the seal is going to be. The knee is going to be something like that. And I'm just kind of throwing lines out there. So we'll correct all this in a second. Work my way up like this. All right, so now I can draw, because his legs are spread out like that, he's putting stress on his cloth, so that's why we are drawing stress lines. And I just love doing stuff like this because it makes it come alive, you know? You saw all I did was draw a few lines, but by doing stuff like this, it makes the material come alive. And so that's kind of what I was saying with this, was like, well, we'll make this work in a second. Just hear me out. And sometimes it takes little stuff like that just to have some fun and make it come alive, you know? And as you can see, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making up these lines that it feels right to me. It feels right that that's what I should be doing. Okay, so let's draw that seal, where his like that, where the suit is cut off. And so I'm going to draw him some boots, like this. And I'm going to give him some spurs. So I wanted to draw that over the heel first. Okay. All right. That's a cowboy boot. Okay, we're going to draw the little pull-on circles like that. I'm going to draw some stress on the shoes, or the ankles of the boots. Let's see. I'm going to define a few things here. All right. Okay, let's give them some stress in the pants there. They're going into the boot. So let's draw this one over here. And this one is kind of up like that. Come down to the ankle. There's the cloth and the material that are going into the boots. And so because we're just going to draw that, the spur, you can't really see it. That's all we can really draw. All right, but we'll do that spur over there. Okay. Okay, so this one was pointed right at you. That's why it's kind of at a straight angle. Okay, so let's draw a spur. Let's just do something kind of like... something like that. Okay, there we go. You know what? I think that's great. I think I'm happy with this. I say let's take care of the rest with color. So for Sunday Funday, that is a Cowboy Astronaut. So here is my colored version. You could do it however you like. I just thought I'd show you how I decided to color it. If you'd like to color it like this, you can always pause the video here and use the coloring techniques that I use, or you can just make it your own. Remember, this is how I draw. You draw how you draw. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more adventures of how I draw. Plus, don't forget to hit that notification button to be updated about each new video.